Beautiful 22nd Street Landing. I get to spend some time with my dear friend, Danny
Philip,
Kadota.
Philip, we missed you. We missed you guys.
Oh my God.
You and Anthony. Yeah.
I know, man. We were
sushi
supposed to
bar?
be there, but I was feeling a little weird that day.
That's what I hear.
I apologize.
That's what I hear.
Apologize. I hear you had a great time.
We had an awesome time.
The Sushi
Awesome
Institute
time.
is in Torrance. They train
Yeah.
sushi chefs for the future, and you got to attend. How was it?
It's always phenomenal. And you know, the best part is, too, you know, it's come a long way. I mean, they did it at his studio there and at his school.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we did his first one in my kitchen, you know, with his wife and my wife, Gail, worked together in real estate.
Yes.
And so when we first redid our kitchen, he did it in there. You know, it looked fine, but the acoustics, because of the travertine, the tile and everything, made it echoey and everything.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it was good. I mean, it was his first attempt, and I don't know how many years ago that was. That was quite a few years ago. But
No,
now,
time flies, man.
my God, he set up all the sushi lands and all the cruise ships around the world. And,
Wow.
I mean, it's just phenomenal. But, you know, I think I look at it practically for, like, in our utilization, that the wives, if he has schools that are like one-day schools and
Yeah.
like that, for wives of fishermen. Oh my God.
They teach you how
They
to
teach
do
you-
rolls,
Yes.
how to sashimi the fish, how
Yeah.
to care for it, everything, right?
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's just great. Now, I learned some stuff, as many thousands and thousands of tuna I've cut, and not without exaggeration.
Yeah, no, I know.
I learned some new stuff. He had a beautiful bluefin that he had that's probably at least 100 pounds or better, you know, and he cut it, and he was showing us really the proper way to do it. So I even learned stuff. I've been doing this for a long time, but you know, when you can pick up things like that, it's huge.
Yeah, heck
It's
yeah.
huge.
That
It's
is great. We're going to learn more about that. We're also going to talk about one of your favorite boats, the American Angler. They are making some noise out there. More yellowfin surging in. Before we get started here, if you don't mind, hit that like button. Share these videos everywhere. Make sure you tick that rotten, filthy, disgusting, smelly little bell, and you'll be notified when there's new content. You can also follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. October the 5th, Sunday, right here from 22nd Street Landing. We're taking off on a 2-day trip on the Amigo. We've got a couple of spots available for you. If you want one, send me a text ASAP before it goes away. That is 657-227-6459. And tomorrow we'll be releasing our Apollo 2-day video. That's going to go up, I think, about 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So that's going to be great. One more thing, I'll be in Ventura on Wednesday at the Ventura County Sport Fishing Club giving a speech. I'm looking forward to going up there to my dad's old haunting ground. He was born in
wow.
Oxnard,
Oh,
played
no
football
kidding.
for
Great.
Ventura
Oh, my God, yeah.
Junior College. So I feel good. And Connie, my niece, is a doctor up there. So
awesome.
we got all these things kind of all
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
together.
yeah.
Really, really good stuff. Hey, and one more thing. We have got a great raffle. It's going to be October the 13th, but you can get in right now. Over $2,000. This is the biggest one we've ever had. It's a Makaira 16. It's a UC Viper rod. Those paired together are worth over $1,500. That is going to be prize number one. Prize number two is going to be another rail rod. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe Chuck, who is in here right now, will let us know. But really huge prizes, Danny. And you guys can get involved right now by going and giving Chuck either a text. You can give him a call. He's a really cool guy from Z Custom Rods, and he's doing the custom rod work on this great raffle. It's huge. If you hit this one for a $20 bill, man, you'll be singing with a $1,500 rod and reel.
Absolutely.
Man, I can't wait.
He does some beautiful work, folks. Beautiful work.
You know, and he's about a year into this, I think, Chuck.
Wow.
About a year into doing this. I knew he would, because when he hones in on something, he just works 24 hours a day.
That is awesome.
At that kind of stuff. So really, really great stuff. I think Mad Dog's even going to start rapping with Chuck a little bit more.
Hey.
He's done some rapping already. All right. Well, let's see. It's just Mad Dog and Zimmer talking in there right now. Been a while since I've seen you guys. Updated Ensenada Kids rod wrapping trip. January 16th. Is that when we're doing it now? Does it sound like it? Sounds like it. So I think that's what we're doing, Chuck. So January the 16th, Danny, we're headed to Mexico. Going to pick 12 kids, kids that would never be able to afford a rod. We're going to take a blank down. and then we're going to have teachers that take them through the process, and they wrap their own blank. We give them the rod, and we take them fishing the next day.
That is so. Let me know when. When is that?
It looks like January the 16th.
Well,
I'm
put me in
figuring
for
this
a
out.
bunch of blanks. I'll get you diversity. Now,
Really?
of course, for kids, the stuff that I have is not really for kids. It's for the very elite fishermen that. I mean, there's a lot of fishermen that are fairly good fishermen.
Yeah.
But if they're not expert fishermen, the graphite's probably not the best one.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you know how to fish, you'll put on a lot. You'll put on more. You'll outcast. You'll outlift. There's a lot of technical things that the reason why I gravitated graphite years ago. But it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't bang it around, slam it on rails. Of course,
Yeah,
that's
probably
really-
not kid friendly,
not the way
right?
you're yeah, it tends. But if you get an astute angler, it's like shooting, a good gun as opposed to like a musket. Or
Yeah,
something,
heck yeah.
So when it's done correctly and you learn how to fish correctly, and that's probably the biggest part, Phil, is if we could teach them to fish correctly, and at my age too, I have to fish correctly because I don't have the strength.
Yeah, I know, man. I know.
Everything. I think we showed it on our old skipper strip a few years ago. I put it on the rail, folks. I'm in my 70s, and I can't pull like I used to, but the rail gives you an edge, and it also keeps you, if you keep it at 90 degrees down, your lifting power is substantially greater.
Yes.
We can quantify that, but all I can tell you, you'll never break the rod, and the fish is going to come up quicker because the recovery time is faster.
Yeah. Chuck says he'd love to wrap a couple of your rods and do a
You got it.
fundraiser for.
You got it, Chuck. They're yours.
Chuck, there you go, man. We got
You're
it
good.
for you. I'm glad you mentioned that, Chuck. Chuck also
Absolutely.
clarified that we have a 76 UC Viper with that Macaira 16, and then another blank, which will be prize number 2. We may throw a bunch of other stuff in here also, but a 76 Rain Shadow rated 50 to 130 pound rail rod. My God. Folks, you can't beat this, and it helps us do a lot of good out there in the communities. In fact, we had a whole bunch of other stuff we were doing, but we're driving down the street, and the only all-girls soccer team in Rosarito Beach, they were out there doing a fundraiser. So we gave them a little bit of money, and then we gave them a ton of water. They were selling water out on the street, so we gave them a couple cases of
that's
water.
cool.
What else? Did we do something? Huh? Oh, yeah, we gave them 50 bags of chips, because they're selling those out there. Did we give them your grandma's cookies? No, we didn't give them grandma.
You kept the goods.
We kept those for Michael Limon.
Upholstery guys.
Yeah, that's right. We gave it to the
okay.
upholstery shop guy.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Ramon's birthday. So anyway,
cool.
that's a whole different thing. But you're talking about getting weak when you get older. I was lifting his tackle box out of my car, Anthony's tackle box, and I'm like, I can barely carry this thing now, man. Back in the day, oh my God, it really sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, let me tell you, and I'm gone for a little while, Phil.
Yeah.
The surgery on my shoulder is going to be scheduled for January now.
Oh,
so I'm
okay.
just hoping that I'm ready to go. I'm going to do go full bore on my rehab because I got trips scheduled in June.
Yeah.
And it's the one I sponsor on American Angler, but also the one that I go down to the Bay of Los Angeles.
Yes.
And those are my favorite places to fish, and I just want to be back in shape by that. So from January 1st, from the time they cut my shoulder, I'm gonna get back in
Yeah.
get ready for it. because
Good.
If I
Good.
can't fish,
Let's do it together.
forget it. It sounds good.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Why
It
not,
really
right?
would.
We'll
Absolutely.
motivate one another.
Absolutely. That'd be great.
Jeff Lingle's a big fan of yours, and he says he loves his G. Loomis graphite jig rod. Absolutely loves it. Jeff runs a yacht out of San Diego,
Yeah.
great captain, and a big fan of yours.
Well, and the guys that get it and have fished the straight graphite have the ability to throw and to lift. They understand what it's all about because your fish kill is tremendous because the recovery rate's so much faster, and because it dampens quicker, it quickens your lift on the rather than like with fiberglass where it's 6 times heavier, Phil.
Yes.
You'll watch that tip do one of these things.
Yes.
But the graphite's like, it's all timing.
Yeah.
And you could really do a number with it, but it's for guys that get it. They really understand it. Because you don't abuse them. Of course, I broke my first graphite rod last year, but that was 100% stupidity on my part. I got excited like fishermen do, and I gave the front of the panga to some friends up there, and these fish popped up, and I'm in the stern, and I go back there, and I'm firing my lure. It's my first broken rod in all my life. It's the first one I broke. Fish.
Wow.
And it was casting, and it was stupidity because
It happens to
I
the
hit the
best of
rod
us.
rack. I hit the rod rack. Here it is, and I'm looking at the fish boiling. So it's cabria. I'm so excited. Clank, clank, clank. I go. Yes.
I know it happens to the
Yes.
best of us, man. You're
Oh,
human, Danny.
yeah.
I hate to break it to
Yeah,
you.
it was horrible.
Chuck Zimmer wants to say, Danny, thank you so very much. He's going to be honored to build a couple.
You got it,
of-
Chuck. You got it. You'll love it. I'm going to take you over to my buddy's place, and I'm going to show you a different methodology on the way they put it together with the graphite handles.
Oh, cool.
Because I don't know if Phil remembers how light those things
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
But all that lightness accounts for is it's a quicker recovering rod. So
Yeah.
it puts fish on quicker. So
Yes.
as old guys, makes us look good.
Yeah.
We'll take all that.
And Jeff Lingle is back again to say, and he's affirming exactly what you're saying. He says you can apply a lot more power to the fish.
Oh, not even close. Yeah. Yep. And especially if you have you choreograph your outfit like you do everything else, with the Spectra, with the floors. You have less stretch, okay? The reel that you have, and as you get older too, I think you've seen it. Even my 30-pound, I have two-speeded with the small accurates, and it makes a big difference when it comes down to fishing bigger fish, lighter line. It makes you look like a hero when you're really not. That was the same reel I used when we did our freedom trip. Right?
Yes.
On those 60 to 100 pound, and generally when you're fishing 30, if you're fishing a jig match or something, your drag, forget it. It'll take you 3 or 4 times, and your percentage of landing them is so much less than you will if you have something like the little 2-speed, So you maximize everything, but you have to understand your fishing angles and everything else, and fishing graphite, you can't get it above 90 degrees. You can, but you lose a lot as you get higher than 90. If you keep it pointed, you got less stretch, and everything where you pull up, you get. Oh, Michael
Limon!
His first score!
What do you got, a buttermouth perch?
Yeah.
Whoa,
Oh,
somebody was
man,
talking
you're on
about
a
that.
roll.
Hold that up there. One more. You're too fast. Over
There you
under
go.
on Michael. Do you have food out there?
No.
Over under is 3 then, okay? No food, we got a chance. Anthony says 4. We'll make it 4. 4 over under. Will Michael Limon catch more or less than 4 fish during today's show? Good stuff. All right, Patrick Wright is asking the question that is on everyone's minds. Hey guys, we have a super moon coming up on October the 6th. What is your opinion about fishing during a full moon? Oh my God, Patrick, and that's when our Amigo trip is. It has been really tough for bluefin tuna on the full moon. Just about every single fin. I think maybe there was an exception, maybe for a couple days this year. I might even be wrong on that. It might have been just down the whole time. But man, that moon phase, I'm praying that it's going to change this time. Or actually, what I'm praying is you do see movement with fish kind of squirt around a lot. I'm praying that yellowfin is within range of us because it keeps moving up little by little.
Yeah.
It's about 55 miles below the border right now.
Oh man, that's right here.
It's
That's
not
here.
that far, right?
I mean, overnight they're up here.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. People wonder, like, well, wait, can fish move 60 miles or can they move 50 miles? And you think it's 2 knots,
yeah.
2 knots an hour they're swimming
they-
to move 50 miles.
Piece of cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can
of
literally.
cake.
So,
Yeah.
Patrick, the short answer is I'm hoping we prove the moon wrong on the bluefin. And the secondary one is we still have yellowtail white sea bass. We got all that stuff, and I'm hoping that yellowfin gets up here in range. I know there's been a few marlin caught here recently. There was one on the Patriot, was it today? 3/4 day boat had one on the way to Catalina. That's a warm water kind of indication. Yesterday, the Grande had limits of bluefin and had quite a bit of yellowfin tuna. The San Diego, these are full day boats out of San Diego, had limits of bluefin tuna. So there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
And Danny, you well know that variety, that's part of our fall bite
Oh,
here in Southern California.
That's the best. We have a shot at everything. You never know what you're going to get till you get out there. I mean, yeah. Well, I can't even remember what year it was, Phil. But we came back. We're back here in San Diego. I'm from San Diego, and we got those. We had, on a small skiff, we had 5 wahoo right at the 100 fathom curve, right on the outside the horseshoe.
You went out there on a scale?
Oh yeah, we got 5. Yeah, with Junior, one of my old captains, and there were 3 of us, and we had 5 wahoo.
How
dumped a
exciting.
couple. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they weren't little. I got pictures of them. I have to bring them in when they were showing. But how fun was that?
Oh my God, that was amazing.
I wanted to sink the boat. Junior says, "Yeah, but there's no room." I said, "Doesn't matter."
I know.
I had
right?
that old captain's mentality. It's,
Yep.
How many times are you gonna, get the wahoo on the horseshoe like this, just outside the rigs, So you never know, folks. Stay tuned.
I know. And
Pay attention because it could happen.
remember
And
that
all it
whole
can happen.
Dorado thing not that long
That
ago?
too, yeah.
That was an amazing, how long did that last? 3 weeks?
Oh,
Something
man.
like that, maybe
Yeah.
better.
But the fall bite, Phil, has always been, to me, a real treasure because
Yes.
a lot of times when I was been in San Diego all summer, they come back, bring the boat back up here to 22nd Street, we tie it up, and all of a sudden we get the inside information and fish within striking distance.
Yeah.
We take a goof off or something, and we would just slay them. It was just unbelievable. So some of the very best fishing I've ever seen in my life has been in the fall. So stay tuned, pay attention, guys. But it's a great time to fish. The crowds are down a little bit,
Yep.
and so that means you're not going to have the pot traffic, so you don't have a lot of little small boats running in and running over the spots of fish.
Holy cow.
And if you have
Whoa, an exotic! A calico bass.
Michael, you the man.
Michael Limon with
Michael.
2. I'm glad Anthony put that up there at 4. Hold that beautiful fish.
And
Not
that-
too long, or people will accuse us of murdering that calico bass.
Throw it in the water.
Return it to the
Man,
sea,
good job,
where it
Michael.
belongs, and can live to fight another day.
Yep.
Yeah, but you're right. The variety in the fall is what I love. Dorado, yellowfin
absolutely.
tuna, bigeye tuna.
Absolutely.
Bluefin tuna.
Yeah.
All of that stuff, and it's our best weather months. Even though
Yeah.
this year
Yeah, it's been
we've
hot.
still had a lot of wind.
Yeah.
It's been brutal this year on the wind, but I'm thinking we're going to settle into something really good here on this supermoon. I'm praying. And Chuck Zimmer comes to the rescue and says he was on the El Dorado on the last full moon and had very good bluefin tuna fishing at Cortez. I stand corrected.
awesome. There you
Doggone
go.
it.
There
You
you
can
go.
sign up right now, Patrick. I was wrong.
Yeah, you never know. And you got full moon. You never know if there's been this fish that we haven't seen in quite a while that was up north.
Whoa.
And you don't know if they, we can't tell. We've been fishing. I've been fishing all my life, and I would not bet my life on predicting, what fish are going to show up when. But there's those long fin guys that they've been sitting up there outside Morro Bay and Monterey, and it doesn't take but a quick couple kicks of the tail, and they're down here too. So I don't want to jinx this, but who knows? That's why I'm just going to leave it there. Who knows?
October the 13th, a
Yep.
Macaira 16 paired with a 76 UC Viper will be going out in our great raffle on Tackle Shop Confessions. There's the info. If you'd like to get a ticket now, please do. And also backing that up, a 76 Rain Shadow Blank rated at 50 to 130 pounds. And we're going to throw in some Tuna Riot poppers and a lot more in this great raffle. Over $2,000 worth of stuff going out. It's going to be great. All right, let's get back to it. And we go to, hold on one second. I have to jump down here to the bottom. Robert Graber says, good afternoon, Phil and Danny. Happy Danny Kadota Show Monday.
Hey.
Absolutely. Thank you, Robert. Can't wait to see Phil up here in the 805. In fact, I will see you, Robert. I'll let you know our ETA here tomorrow. But I'm going to be pointing my bow toward Eric's Tackle up there in Ventura. We're going to do a walkthrough through the tackle store.
Oh, cool.
And meet him. And I'm really
Eric's
looking
a great
forward to
guy,
it.
and he's got a tremendous mini museum there too.
Does he?
Where they get, oh yeah, you got to go see his collection.
Oh, I can't wait. So that makes it even better.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, you mean old reels? And
He's got everything.
yeah.
Old jigs, things like that. I'm sure you'll find schnabels. You'll see it up there.
Did
That'd
he-
be well worth it?
Did he
He's been
fish
doing
with
this-
you on the Mustang?
No, but I used to call him when I had G Loomis, when I was repping all the
Oh,
different tackle
gotcha,
lines. So I
gotcha.
would go up there quite a bit. And Eric's quite the enthusiast when it comes to the tackle, though.
Man, I'm
So it's
really
pretty
looking
awesome.
forward
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
Now you got me even more excited
It'd
about
be-
this.
It'd be, yeah.
Yeah, Eric's Tackle. I'm going to say our ETA is going to be like 1 o'clock in the afternoon right now. If you happen to live up in Ventura and want to be there and, meet us, if you're really that desperate, your life is that bad that you want to meet Phil Friedman, I'm there to shake your hand and say thank you for your great
And
support.
Eric's got a great history of all that tackle that he's got too. So that's another neat deal. You know, as far as the informational side, Phil, for you and for our viewers, you know, they call in questions on some of the tackle, oddball stuff, jigs, whatever it might be. He'll have it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we'll do a walkthrough and then we'll do a quick live show if Eric has time.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun so people
that'd
can
be
ask some
awesome.
questions.
Absolutely.
I'm in, man. And if my friend Robert Graber is still listening, he's going to send me a message in a second and tell me where I'm speaking on Wednesday night so I can let everybody know who's watching the show here today. But you can find that if you go to Friedman Adventures on Facebook. I've got a link up there so you can join us. So really looking good. Hey, Daphne joins us right now, and she's a lovely, great fisherman. She says, afternoon. I can't remember if lobster were on the crawl more around the full moon or not. Felt like they were. I think you're right, Daphne, but our man Brian Sanchez will be here at 5:30 for Lobster Chronicles. So we'll ask him, but I believe so. I know after a rain or a storm, they crawl a little bit better. Do you know anything about lobster?
Not really. You know, we got lucky a few times. And the few times we got lucky is because we were fishing with somebody else. When we tried doing it ourselves, you know, we'd scratch one or two. But we did a charter down out of Redondo, and we ended up with limits, and that was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun because I sat in the galley and just sat there and drank hot chocolate and coffee and snacks away while they were pulling the gear.
Yeah, I know. We did the
My
same thing on the
favorite.
Amigo. Yeah, right?
Oh my God.
I think
it's the only way to catch lobsters, folks.
somebody brought ribeye steaks for the
There
one
you
I
go.
was on. I was
There
all
you go.
over that, man. That was good
That's
stuff.
the best catch.
Thanks for being here, everybody. Don't forget to hit that like button. Jeff Lingle says, smallmouth bass out of a fish tank. Absolutely. Michael is going over, says Isaac. And I saw Mad Dog just look out the door, so I thought Michael was on his way, but false alarm. And Isaac also says, good evening, gentlemen. Rob S. says, good evening, everybody. Rob, go Irish. Good to have you here with us. And the raffle tickets are $20 each for this because it's such huge prizes, or you can get 7 tickets for $100. And once again, a Makira 16 UC Viper paired with that's over a $1,500 outfit, which is amazing. And then that's backed up with a Rain Shadow blank, also a Rain Shadow rod. I mean, Chuck's going to wrap that up. So really a fantastic raffle. Hope you can all join in. Doug Sahara, I have one Graphite USA rod, and it has a lot more pulling power. I caught albacore and yellowfin tuna on it. Seems like everybody agrees that with a Graphite, you get that pulling power.
You know, Phil, when it's made correctly and it's rolled right, it's probably at least twice the recovery, because I'm going to have to draw analogies for you people. If you have a heavy rod, okay, say we use a heavy glass rod, okay, that rod has to recover its own weight. When it's bent, it's got to recover its own weight along with the the lifting of the fish. So when you have something that dampens quick like graphite, okay, it recoils like this. And you've seen glass rods, when they're loaded, they'll do this, okay? It doesn't have that like graphite. It's just your recovery. It's so fast because it's light. It's lighter. And if that weren't the case, we wouldn't be implementing graphite in stealth fighters and things like that. It's strong, it's light, but in the fishing world, as far as, we were blazing graphite when I was with G. Loomis, and we did that through my own rods. And I saw the utility and the advantage to using straight graphite. And it's not for everybody. If the guy's high stick, if they're going to put it on the rail and just lean on it, it's not a good, particular material for that utilization.
Gotcha.
Then you can go with a glass rod. You won't have to worry about breaking it. But if you're using it finesse wise, and you can use the rail. Like I used it on the Freedom. That was a super light rod.
Yeah.
But you're able to do these 60 to 100 pound fish with that 30 pound outfit. And I'll tell you, you're going to have a tough time doing it with any other material,
100%, and everybody's agreeing with you here. That is for sure. Hey, Wednesday night, I'll be at the Fusion Grill at 2024. Oh, shoot. Avenida de los Árboles, or in English, how do you do that in English? Avenida de los Árboles. Maybe something like that. Avenida de los Árboles, of the trees. In Thousand Oaks, makes sense. 6 p.m. is Din Din, and I'm on at 6:30. Would love to see if you're up there in Ventura. Hope you can join us. Rob S. pointing out what we broke in with some breaking news here tonight. The Patriot, thank you. That's what we were looking for, Rob. Had 140-pound marlin today. Striped marlin, is that an indication of warm water stuff moving in here? We do catch marlin up here every year, and some years it's really, really good.
Yeah. I can remember catching my first local one, but you know, I got to tell you, I was all excited. Hooked this fish, and just outside the horseshoe, it comes up, and it's getting ready to jump. It comes up like slow motion. The head comes out, goes, and you see the bill going like at this speed. And I was almost going to sleep watching it go like this, so slow. And I just grounded in, and we let it go. But I said, all right, I'm done with that. I'm good.
Oh my God!
But you know, when you get them in the warmer water and whatever, you know, I've seen them fight hard. I mean, where they fight hard. It just so happens the first one I got locally was such a disappointment. You know, it was unbelievable. But yeah, have fun with it.
Yeah,
let them go.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
Rob, thanks again, man, for that update. Yeah, Patriot, we didn't have that, so thank you for sharing that with us all. Let's go to the American Angler news right now, and that is. You love the American Angler?
Yeah, my boys.
Brian Kiyahara said that, you know, this is typical fall fishing. They had great yellowtail fishing. They had great yellowfin tuna fishing. But at 167 miles south of the point, they had a wahoo on the troll coming back. Nice big one.
I heard that.
They backed it up with a bigeye tuna.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Lori's probably on the phone handling all the phone calls coming in, going nuts. So that's great. And she's a very big part of that operation. You guys would be very fortunate to deal with Lori and booking your trips with her.
Yeah, you hear nothing but great stuff about the American Angler for sure. What does that say about our fall bite up here? Anything at all, or
we should
nothing at all?
No, we should have a good. I'm sure we're going to find. Well, like you said now, for our one-day trips, who's covering Cortez? Who's covering Tanner? You know, I'm sure you can go out there and scratch a heck of a day. You know, you just need the coverage.
Yes.
And I don't know if we're getting the coverage, and so, you know, that has a lot to do with it.
Well, shoot, let me tell you about our Apollo trip, because guess what we did? We went to Cortez. We dropped the anchor. By the time I walked out on deck, we had one going. Smaller bluefin, 10 to 30 pounders, like that. We had our limits for 2 days by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, it was a plunker bite.
Yeah,
but you just keep plunking at it. Don't lose many fish.
No.
And you're putting together a good score in a real hurry.
And generally, fishing a bluefin catch is a talent fish. You know, it usually took light lines, smaller hooks, had to be able to fly a line of bait. So it took a certain amount of skill. So, to hone your skills and catch bluefin, even though they're small, that's still quite a feat.
Yes.
You know? And that's awesome.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And we left crew limits kind of off just in case, because that night we were going to go looking. John put us on a school of fish. We ended up with 15 fish to 180 pounds, like that 60 to 180 pound range.
Yeah.
Great stop on those fish.
What a topper there.
Yeah, right?
Woo, talk about topping it off.
Man, it was great. It was really,
awesome.
really great fishing. By the way, everybody, Lobster Chronicles at 5:30, live right here from 22nd Street Landing. Sam is out on the New Loan fishing on a 3-day trip, so he will not be joining us here this evening, and we'll be doing Lobster Chronicles. Hey, I want to welcome a new sponsor, Pelican Roofs. PelicanRoofs.com. You're going to love those guys, man. They work in the OC and here around San Pedro area. Pelican Roofs. You can go to their website, www.pelicanroofs.com. All right, let's see. Rob says, what's a bigeye tuna? What's the difference between a bigeye albacore or a yellowfin tuna? So albacore is an entirely different species which prefers cooler water.
Yeah.
You correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like you're the expert.
Yeah.
I understand on bigeye tuna, is it true that the only real way to tell the difference is that they have a striated liver? Is that true?
That's true.
So how do you call
One's smooth and one's straight.
Yeah.
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 So, I mean, but there must be some, can you visually do it? Or do they look
tough.
like just like a yellowfin?
Very tough, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, when we got the big fat big eyes, just their shape. They're, more footballish,
Yeah.
round. But I've seen bluefin like that too. So it all depends on how they're feeding, where you get them, time of year. But the big eyes, as I recall, the bluefin would do more swimming. To me, they would swim out more and up higher. Where the big eyes sat down, they just worked you.
Yeah.
They just sat down like, all right,
Trying to
lift
budge me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was tougher. Of course, when we were getting the big eyes, we didn't have a lot of the 2-speeds, so it was a lot more work anyway. Really utilizing the lift of the boat. They just timing it with the swell in the boat, and as the boat went up, you'd hold, and as you go down into the swell, you'd wind. So, use every advantage you can get. But they were tough back when we had, and it's not really a fair assessment because when we fished those big eyes way back, we had those good bites, Bill. We didn't have 2-speeds.
I know.
We didn't have the 2-speeds. We didn't have graphite. So I think I would say with today's standards, I'd like to, see the difference, myself. But yeah, that would be the true test.
That is absolutely the truth. And we have seen, and I'm sure in your career, you've seen some really hellacious wide open big eye tuna bites out of San Diego, right?
Unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. We actually just stopped fishing because we were done. We had no place to put them. And then the worst when you get into the dock, your poor crew, it kills the crew to get them out of the fish hole, into the carts, push them up. It was brutal. And some guys would go, what are we going to do with all these? Well, you figure it out. You're the one that kept sticking the fish and putting them on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was standing next to Buzz Brizendine on the Prowler, and a 200-pounder boiled right off the bow of the Prowler. I was a young guy, and I just threw 25-pound on it, just tossed it.
Did Buzz,
I didn't have to worry
Buzz
about...
give you a comment?
Well, I just saw that thing. I threw a bait, got bit on it too. It ate my bait. I didn't have to worry about getting swooled because my hook came back so straight. It looked like a freaking arrow.
Yeah.
It was straight, totally straightened out.
Yeah.
It made like a 30-second run on me, and it just, and it was gone. But it was so cool to see that big fish just blow up off the bow of the Prowler. Man.
When we fished those big eyes in the old days, I'm going to tell you what the hot setup was. I had all newelled out, even my 6/0s, they were newelled out because you could still fly line. But you still have a considerably smaller drag than what the new reels have. So we were still and we were fishing glass rods back then. There were no graphites then. And so your recovery wasn't as quick. So we were handicapped. There's no fluorocarbon. There's a lot of things. So those big eyes, pretty much, they were butt kickers, But it was, you got to match the time with the tackle, and now it might be a little different, But yeah, it was fun.
Oh,
it
my
was
God. 100%.
Yeah.
Robert Slager says, Danny, do you remember when you were trolling for albacore on the Cherokee Geisha? This is already sounding good. When one of your guys had the drag locked down on his 6/0 wood butt rod, no reel strap, snapped off like a shotgun. You do remember it, don't you?
I've seen it, yeah. Well, that's why we tell the guys, you really want through the butt handles, and that's why having the hypalon going all the way to the your blank going all the way through the hypalon to the butt, because they did have a lot of those rods that were 2-piece, a lot of them, and they were connected right by the foregrip, and you would see it would load, and I've seen a few of them, and you just go, sorry.
Yeah, right.
Your drag was a little bit too tight. Yeah, but it was different. It was a big learning curve going through all the big eyes stuff local, because those big eyes were really the first taste we had of catching a big fish, in local water.
Yes.
So that was
That's true now that you mentioned that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Before this big bluefin.
Yeah, and so it mandated, like Carl started making us, aluminum spools for 6/0s and stuff, so you could still fly line and still have a bigger reel. But when you look at conceptually the drags that we had back then, a drag on a 6/0's about like that, Phil. Look at compare it to some of the small reels we have now that are almost all drag.
Yes.
They're a lot more efficient.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, so it was different. We were fighting that. We were fighting our own tackle. We still used mono. We straightened out a bunch of hooks. There's a lot of different things that we had and didn't have. We didn't have fluorocarbon, which would have helped with bluefin because they got good eyes, and they're touchier. So there's a lot of things that we have advantages of now that would give us an edge on the fish.
Yeah.
The
Oh, yeah.
reels, the technology has changed.
Yep.
And we're blessed by that. Yeah.
Robert also, Robert's talking about that. It sounded like a shotgun. I know you remember being in the stern. I'm up on the tanks on the search or whatever, and you're trolling for albacore, and all of a sudden, pow! That boat line goes.
Zing, pow!
Pow! That boat line goes, and you're going, uh-oh,
like a
these are
gunshot.
big eye. You
Like
know,
a
a
gunshot,
couple big eye bit the jigs on the boat line.
Yeah.
And they were gone,
Yeah,
man.
you
There was just
boom, even snapping the rubber, the shock cords at
the
times.
tuna cord. Yeah, just
Yeah, because we're used to albacore.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So those were
We'd
great
have
memories.
to double them up. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, I also remember, when I ran a little commercial boat out of Redondo, my brother and I, we'd take one of the trolling rods and put it down in the bunk room. So it was down, and you're driving the boat up here, and then when it got bit, it would go flying out, and you'd have to grab it before, go, hey, we're bit, take
Dive
this
at
one.
it like a third baseman or a shortstop.
Yeah.
Grab the stick.
Pull back on the throttle. Or keep going when you're trolling, or you got outriggers. You keep turning a circle pretty much and keep catching
man.
fish. But oh my God! And Jeff Lingle, you're right, Jeff. I forgot that. He said we used to call those big guys gorillas back in the albacore days. Yes,
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
And that's because they had the strength of a
And that's how
gorilla,
they
right?
acted, yeah. Yeah, and like I said too, we were handicapped, I think, by the technology on the tackle back then too. Now we've got 2 speeds, bigger drags, graphite. There's a lot of things if you're implementing Spectra. How big is that?
Oh yeah, because you don't have to tie a rod together.
and we didn't
throw a
have-
rod over.
Right, the line capacity on the mono, because of the diameter, was 3 times, 4 times larger than Spectra with the same strength. And so now you could have a smaller reel and have more drag now. Just the way they're machined out, they're all CNC'd. The drags are a lot more efficient. So there's a lot of advantages because we're using a big Pen 6-out loaded with mono, and you'd see them get spooled.
Yes.
And again, the drag was that big.
Yes.
So sure, the technology has changed the game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Once again, October the 13th, $20 for a raffle ticket, but we have over $2,000 in prizes. We have a Makaira 16 paired with a 76 UC Viper. That's over $1,500, and a 76 Rain Shadow blank, or I should say rail rod, rated 50 to 130 pounds. There's the information. Send Chuck a message, or send him $20 for 1 ticket, 7 tickets for $100, and you are in and could win something really special in this one. And we'll be adding some more prizes to this, but that first prize is huge. $1,500, man. You throw a $20 bill in on that and hit that, it's going to be good. Tom Durr is what, 196 now?
Yeah,
And-
about probably.
Yeah, he's about like that. In fact, he's so old that he never joins us on any of these shows because he can't figure out how to get on YouTube.
Or he can't
a little too
find his way
complicated
down
for
the
Tom.
landing anymore.
Yeah, you can't do that either. He gets lost. But he'd kill me if he was listening to this. He told me a story about fishing and getting bit on a big eye, and he was on it for like 6 or 7 hours. He said he wanted to throw up. He was laying on his back at one point, and he wouldn't give it up. Yeah. And does that surprise you about him?
No,
He's an animal, right?
I got to tell you a funny story, Phil. We had brought the boat back from San Diego. We're up here, and we started fishing. We were fishing Catalina with our groups, but I'm getting inside stuff on the radio that the local boats whack some sea bass at Point Fermi. So, I had half a tank of squid left. I said, "Oh, hey, don't dump it, keep it. We're gonna do a goof off trip tomorrow." So we kind of kept it quiet, just the crew, and Tom knew about it. He knew what was going on because of the bite that afternoon. Well, that first night, trying to think the names. I can't remember the names of the boats. 2 of the boats, they got into my receiver and took a bunch of the squid to do a goof off. And I don't know if they got 1 or 2 fish that night, that same day.
Yeah.
Right. But we were out in the morning, and I looked, and I was ticked because my receiver got hit. But then we only had about 8, 10 guys on the boat. So we go, "Oh, Michael
Bone's up to 3 now.
3, you're in
Anthony
there, man.
made the number perfect.
You got about
because-
20 minutes, Mike.
Yeah,
You
Michael
got-
Bone.
you got it.
Michael.
So anyway,
Michael.
we get out, we with my crew, get out there in the morning, and it's soft and foggy. You can't see anything. Well, Tom Durr is by himself in the skipjack, and he's already bit. So now we slide up at Furman. It was at Point Furman.
Did you know Tom in these
Oh
days?
yeah.
So
yeah,
were
he
you
was-
saying hi?
he
Or?
was doing- oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He was the manager. Thank God I knew him because we ended up pushing him off the spot. So what?
Literally?
happened- literally.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
you know, he's got two fish. He had one in the rod holder going, and he's fighting one, right? And we slide in. My crew was so excited. I had the Tanaka brothers. I don't know. I think Brian Kiyahara might have been on there. He was young.
Oh, sure.
We had a bunch of the kids, and we like to say it was a goof off. And so I think it was Marty Tanaka dumps the anchor, and they're all watching Tom with two rods. So we're getting back there. The squid's going in the water. We go bend over right away. But meanwhile, we haven't even hung anchor. I'm still up in the wellhouse. I say, hey guys, we're still dragging, you know. And I could see it going like this. Hey, but they were so excited. They tied the anchor off and went back. Well, it finally hung, but not until we pushed into Tom and pushed him off the spot.
Oh my God!
And we sat
he must have
there.
wanted to kill you.
Yeah, it was funny, but he had, I think he had his limits already anyway. And I said, okay, you're done. Sorry. But we whacked him. It was unbelievable.
That is so
Unbelievable.
funny.
There were some funny stories.
Tom
got
Durr,
into that.
Tom's a great guy, man. I
Yeah.
love Tom,
Oh, yeah.
man. He's
Yeah.
been doing this. He's 80 something, and he still
my God.
wants. He was
Don't
telling
remember
me.
this story like it was yesterday.
He's talking
Trust me.
about getting another boat, and then he's talking himself out of it, and he's
Yeah.
he can't get this out of his blood.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That happens when you fish, folks.
I know. I mean, it's just part of this whole thing. Hey, Guy, thank you. Guy Stratton is here with us. Guy, I appreciate you visiting with us. And he says, are the big-eye tuna more warm water species? And that is absolutely yes, right?
You know what? Yes and no.
Yeah, because you
what?
do see them with albacore.
Yeah,
yeah.
and so
I mean,
gotta
that
tell you,
is true.
A friend told me this a long time ago, and I thought he was being really facetious. But he says, I said, where are they? He goes, the fish will be where they want to be. And I go, oh, you SOB. But you know what? The more you think about it, the more it's true. And just find them. We can't call them. And I'll tell you something else. The biologists can't call them. Otherwise, they would have called all these things ahead of time, too. Correct?
Yes.
They've had plenty of time. But they can't explain wahoo here and what's going on, and it's tough. Where the albacore? Yeah, maybe the albacore. It's staying in cool water. They're staying where there's more prevalent anchovies, in the water and stuff like that. But even these high-paid marine biologists, they have no idea. It's a guess. It's a guesstimate even with them. So I've taken what they say with a grain of salt when they talk, and utilize more what we've seen historically and through our own information, network.
Yeah, Guy, I think they are a little bit more warm water, but Danny's right, man. I mean, I called Eddie McEwen. Many of you will remember Eddie. He ran the Pacific Queen for many, many years. I called Eddie one night and I said, Eddie, I'm going out there near San Clemente Island. I know there's some big eye out there, albacore. Can you give me some numbers? And he's like, well, yeah, you're not going to put them on 976 tuna, are you? I go, no. I just want to go out and catch some fish. So he gave us the numbers, and we got out there. It was off Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
And freaking, we had like big eye blowing up on the swim step. They were coming so close to us, and they were mixed with albacore, which is a cooler water, loving
we've seen
tuna.
them
So
mixed.
Danny's right. It's weird. Some of these fish have the ability to kind of go from that cooler to warmer water. Bluefin tuna is a perfect example of that. They can regulate their body temperature. So, it's just like you say, man.
Here's something for sure that will happen. If you get a blending of big eyes with albacore, the big eyes will bite more like albacore.
Yeah, which means
What you don't want is big eye mixed with
bluefin.
because then they're touchy.
Yeah.
And you get a big fish on a touchy bite, and you have to drop down the light line. Forget it. 'Cause
Yeah,
they'll
exactly.
smoke you. So that does hold true. They take the traits of whoever they're swimming with. Whoever's in the neighborhood. They put on the same colors that they have.
Guy, great question. Thank you so much. Makaira 16 being raffled off October the 13th live on Tackle Shop Confessions. You get to get your popcorn and watch us draw the tickets. A Makaira 16 with a UC Viper rod, $1,500 value. Tickets are $20 or 7 tickets for $100. And also we have a rain shadow blank or I should say rail rod. I keep saying that. Rated 50 to 130 pounds, well over $2,000 in prizes. Isaac, you're the man. Thanks for keeping me in touch with all the latest all the time. Danny, what's the best angle to keep your rod at when fighting a fish? See a lot of guys just pointing the rod at the fish and pulling straight back and winding. That seems to be the key right now.
I'd say everything below. I don't get my rod generally higher than 90 degrees. And if you keep it on a rail straight out, and you're straight up and down, there's 90 degrees, folks. But you get it up above there, and the reason why is we quantified this when I was working with Gary Loomis, and we put it on machines. And as you go up in increments, every 15 degrees your pressure drops off. So when you get it up at a high stick, number one, you get it up at a high stick, that's where you're going to blow the tips. And you're going to get like 1/10 the pressure up here than you do if you got it pointed down. Now, you've probably seen in some of the old videos that Phil had it filmed, like we did the trip on the Freedom a few years ago, and I was hooking these 60 to, they're 60, 80, and there's some that are probably pushing 100 that I got chewed through on. But I had the rod down here on the rail and down the whole time, and I was blessed to have fishing a small 2-speed accurate 500 with 30 pound. And as normal bluefin, they won't eat heavy line. They wouldn't eat the heavy line, and we had some great fishermen. We had all these old skippers, but we couldn't get them to eat the heavy string. So I think Larry Moore also had some of those, but we were all.
I thought you said great fisherman. Sorry, Larry.
I think he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we had fun. We had a blast. But we were blessed of, number one, having small 2-speeds. We were both fishing the accurates, with 30 pound, because we couldn't get them to eat anything heavier than 30. So it took a lot of work, but having the graphite was definitely an advantage. But you have to know how to use it, and that amounts to just keeping it the angle down low. That's where you can get your premium lifting, and you won't have any breakage if you keep it 90 degrees down. So that's just a tip. If you can keep your rod down, you put the fish on quicker.
Excellent stuff, Isaac. Great question. Thank you so much. Hit that like button, everybody. And a reminder to you all, at 5:30, we have Lobster Chronicles with Promar and Brian Sanchez, who says he's giving away a lot of stuff tonight. I think millions of dollars is what he said in prizes tonight. No, I didn't hear that. But he's giving away some stuff tonight. God knows what it is. Tune in at 5:30 to find out. Jeff Lingle wants to know if Michael Limon is related to the great USC receiver Mikhail Limon, or Lemon, I guess I should say. Jeff, I think Michael actually changed his name. His last name was Montana. I think he's related to Joe Montana, that guy that was quarterback at Notre Dame. But maybe I'm wrong on that one.
The Niners. Yeah.
Rob S. says he would put money on the old axiom, find the bait, find the fish. If there's bait, you're going to find it. And Rob, that is absolutely true, right?
Yeah. They used to always talk to us and say, hey, where are they? And I had a friend that used to say, well, they are where you find them. And we used to think, what a smart aleck, But, in many cases, it's true because, fish, they have fins. They move. So, oftentimes you have your calculations. But if you have spots, generally the banks where the bait will congregate on top and everything, these are places where we'd always target, And then, what changed things a while back, and this is in the early 80s when we first put on our scanning sonars, it gave us a great edge.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of boats, if they didn't have it, they were out of the game. So that made a huge difference because you could also watch the bait stratify, move from down deep to start coming up the column. And when they started coming up the column, get ready. So there's a lot of different things that we had, to our advantage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ken Trenholm joins us. Ken, I say hello to not only you, but I say hello to your mom. I hope she's watching right now. I send you all my very best. Ken joined us on our Apollo trip. And Ken was off to a slow start on this trip and was in the galley, and he needed some love. So I went down there and said, Ken, come on, man. Don't worry about it. And man, he caught fire after that, was doing great. And then when I saw him at night, I walked out. I was actually asleep when the bite started.
Yeah.
I'm not a night.
Yeah.
Somebody's at my door, thank God, screaming, Phil, they're
I
biting.
need you to cover the.
Yeah, and I came out, and Ken was one of the first guys I saw on a big fish, which he landed. He says, hello, Friedman Adventures family. Sorry I'm late to the show. I was fishing. Phil, I had a great trip on the Apollo. Thanks again for everything. Hey, Ken, you get to watch yourself catch those fish. I think tomorrow at 4 p.m., that show is going to air 2 days on the Apollo. We've released some shorts. You were in one of those shorts, as you well know. I'm pretty sure I shared that with you, but man, it's going to be great to see you doing that. Once again, thank you for being there. Really appreciate it. October the 5th, 2 days on the Amigo out of 22nd Street Landing. 2 spots available. Send me a text, 657-227-6459. Doug Sahara. Danny, have you ever lost a piece of the rail on a big-eye tuna?
No. A piece of the rail. No, we had mahogany rails. But they're thick.
Yeah.
You know, when they were always kept up. I mean, before we went down to San Diego, it looked like glass. You know, it was polished off so well. You know, sanded down and finished off. It was beautiful. You know, but then it's a boat. It takes a lot of maintenance to keep them going. But yeah, we had mahogany rails and they were beautiful. You know, at least at the beginning of the season before we took the boat down to San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, there you go, Doug. Thanks again for joining us. Jeff Lingle is throwing up at the thought of Joe Montana. Being a good USC fan, I wouldn't expect anything less of you, Jeff. That is for sure. Richard Hughes. Now, Richard wrote the morning briefing song, which I saw people just walking around humming that song here today at 22nd Street Landing.
Was it a Notre Dame fight song or something?
No, it's close, you know. It's like the da, 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 da. No, but Richard's a great guy. But the one thing about Richard Hughes that I'm more jealous about than anything, I don't think it was racquetball, whatever, it might have been racquetball. He got to be good friends with Wilt Chamberlain, who was my idol when I was a kid.
The stilt.
Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain, man. I used to love to watch Wilt as a Laker, and I used to love those battles between him and Kareem. Wilt was getting old. Kareem was much more athletic, but Wilt would still shove one down his throat from time to time. I love that, Richard.
Oh, he was an animal.
Yeah.
I mean, he was unbelievable. I can remember seeing him and Keith Erickson playing volleyball up at Santa Monica.
Yeah,
on the
right.
beach.
They were all the time, right?
All the time.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Of course, he didn't even have to jump. He just stood up, hammered straight down. But yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, well, Flynn Robinson, who played for the Lakers, he told me some stories it's almost game time, and everybody's looking around like, where's Wilt? And then Wilt came in, he said, and he had sand in his hair. He'd been at the beach all day. He's like, and they're like, Wilt, and he goes, hey, I'm good. Don't worry about it. Don't anybody panic. Big deal. We're playing the 76ers tonight or the Warriors or whoever it was. And so those were some great stories. I love it. Richard Hughes. Yeah, it was racquetball. He played racquetball with Wilt Chamberlain.
Wow.
That is friggin' awesome, if you ask me. My college professor, if I've got this right, Pete Hoffman at Loyola, this is just another thing, it was his mother or his grandmother were friends with Thomas Edison. How weird is that? When I heard that, I was like, what? Really? I know another guy, Bob Osborne, some relation of his. Bob's like 80 now. You know him.
I remember Bob.
Bob Osborne. Big Bob.
Yes.
Bob Osborne's some relative was at Orville, the guy that flew the first airplane. What's his name?
Wright.
Yeah, right. Orville Wright. He was at his wedding.
Wright, your brothers.
And when you look at our country, it's only 250 years old, so it's only a couple generations back to that. Yeah. But when you start hearing stuff
they
like
saw
that,
the first flight.
Yeah. Whew. No, they were at his wedding. They were
the wedding.
The best man at his wedding or something.
So
yeah.
Unreal.
It's pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah.
I know.
Unreal.
Whoa, we're starting to run out of time already here, but we're going to keep going. And Jeff Lingle wants to thank Richard profusely for not incorporating Notre Dame in the morning briefing song, or we probably never ever see Jeff again. So I thank you also, Richard. I'll have to second that. Mackie says, I don't think Michael Limon knows any of those players you guys mentioned. I am pretty sure about that.
Yeah.
He may not even know who the vice president. Do you think Michael Limon knows who the vice president of the United States is right now? If he comes in with a fish, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I would say no too.
But we'll see. Who
He's
knows?
into his fishing,
Yes, I
not
know.
politics.
Mike Krinkovich,
3 minutes is what he's got left.
the cranker. I'm with Jerry right next door. Well, Jerry and Mike, we love you. You know we do. Jeff Lingle, Mackie, I was joking, not spelled the same. Yeah, I know. Yeah, hey, Mackie, you thought Jeff was serious? Come on. Maybe it's Mackie who's joking, Jeff. I'm not sure. Hey, we're running out of time here. Bigeye tuna, wahoo, great yellowfin tuna fishing. You know, the full day boats yesterday, limits of bluefin, good shot of yellowfin. The Ensenada boys continue to catch yellowfin tuna. We leave October the 5th here on a 22nd Street landing. That's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to do that. And that great raffle. Don't forget that. Danny.
You know, Phil, in the fall
Go
fishing,
ahead.
folks, fall fishing is probably the best fishing of all. And I got to tell you, when I used to come back from San Diego and bring the boat back right here at 22nd Street, tie up, first thing we do was when this fish came out in front here, we do a goof off or we hop on the boats because that was the time of year. I mean, that's when we did our freedom trip a couple years
Yeah,
ago.
right.
Stuff like that.
I
But
love
the
this
fall
time of
fishing,
year.
guys, it's just starting. And the crowds are lighter, but the fishing's usually phenomenal.
All right, everybody, you got a half hour to go on your little pee-pee break or grab something to eat because in a half hour, Lobster Chronicles right here with free giveaways and lots more. Danny,
Philip.
it's a blessing to spend time with you, my
Absolutely.
friend.
What a great time, bud.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Hit
you
that
for
like
tuning
button,
in,
everybody, and we'll
Yeah.
see you again on the